the second session, students. We will be discussing about the next topics in chapter number 8, controlling. So, we will be discussing about relationship between planning and controlling as well as controlling process in this particular session. So, what is the relation between planning and controlling? I have been telling you people that planning helps you to set the standards for your organization, and controlling is all about to making sure that organization's standards have been achieved. So, the relation between the planning and controlling is established through these standards which are set at the beginning of the planning function. Now, when we are discussing about the relationship between the functions of planning and controlling, you need to understand that planning without controlling is aimless. You set the standards, you ask the people to, you establish the authority relationships, authority and responsibility relationships, and then you employ the people, ask them to perform the work, that is you start implement the plans. Now, it is not enough if you are implementing the plans in your organization. You also have to make sure that all the plans that are being decided by the organizations are performed properly. Now, how do you know that the work is being performed properly? You have to control those activities which are being performed in the organization. So, for that you need controlling function. If the manager is preparing the plans and if he is not appointing someone to control the activities, then it becomes aimless. It goes on happening and the work will be done, but there will be no one to make sure that the activities of the organizations are directed towards the achievement of the goals. So, it is very important to have a controlling function in the organization to make sure all the plans of the organizations are being achieved. Similarly, you have a controlling function, and if you are not ready with proper plans, in that case this controlling function also becomes aimless. It is aimless without planning. You are having a good control system established in your organizations, but you do not have any proper plan. You do not have any proper plan in the organization. In that case, even this particular good control system that you have installed in your organization becomes useless. So, it is important to have these two functions together. They are interrelated to each other. If you do not have proper plans, you will not be able to control the activities in the organization properly. Similarly, if you do not have controlling function, you will not be having, or you will not be able to get the benefits of the plans that you have prepared in advance. So, you have to understand that they both are interrelated to each other. Similar is the case with your third point, which tells you about the relationship between planning and controlling here. They are backward looking as well as forward looking. Both the planning function and controlling function are backward looking and forward looking. When we are discussing the things in the earlier chapters, we might have studied that planning is a forward looking function. You look at the future and decide the things, you prepare the plans, right? You prepare the plans by looking at the future, what is to be done in the future, what has to be achieved in the future. You talk about future. Of course, it is forward looking function, but when you are preparing the plans, you also look back. you look back to see what has happened to the earlier plans, to see if there is any need for the changes in the plans that you are going to prepare for the future. So, planning is both forward looking function as well as backward looking function. Now, controlling, actually people say that it is a backward looking function because you look at the plans. Yes, I told you that when we are discussing the meanings in the earlier session, that controlling is all about making sure that you are achieving the plans set already. Okay, already the plans have been set. The person who is controlling the activities has to make sure that those plans are achieved. So, you will be looking back to find out what are the plans and you will be performing the activity, right. Now, so it is a backward looking function. Now, how it is a forward looking function? How is it a forward looking function? Controlling helps you to decide the plans for the future. If you are having finding out deviations, if you are ever finding out deviations in your activities in the organization, you will be taking corrective actions and you will be telling the people in the telling the people who are preparing the plans that these needs to be taken care of when the future plans are being prepared. So, it is also a forward looking function. Okay. So, both planning and controlling are forward looking as well as backward looking functions. Moving on to the next topic, controlling process. Okay. This, as usual, almost all the chapters have a topic on process. So, this also is all about the steps that is to be followed by you when you are doing the function of controlling. So, the first step is about setting the performance standards. The second step, measurement of actual performance. Third step is about comparing the actual performance with the standard performance. Okay. Then analyzing the deviations, and then the last one, taking corrective actions. So, the first point, setting, let us go to the first point, setting performance standards. Now, what do you do? What do you do when you are doing setting of performance standards? You will be deciding about the criteria. Okay, you will be deciding about the criteria against which your actual performance is going to be measured. You will be deciding the criteria against which your actual performance will be measured. That means, you are going to give a target for your future, and the performance of the employees will be measured against that particular target. Now, in the earlier class I told you that the organization has decided to manufacture 1000 units. Now, this is setting performance standard. The management has decided that organization will have to achieve 1000 units of products, will have to produce 1000 units of products. So, that is setting performance standard. Now, when you are setting the performance standard, make sure it is both, it can be set both in qualitative terms and quantitative terms. It can be both in qualitative terms as well as quantitative terms. Quantitative terms, like in the case of cost, okay, the cost that is to be incurred by you or the revenues that is going to be earned by you, that all are used as the the quantitative targets or the standards. Okay. When it comes to the qualitative standards, it can be about the motivational level of the employees or your behavior of the employees, or the goodwill of the employees. All these are qualitative standards that can be set for your organization. But remember students that whatever targets that you set must be achievable. You should not achieve such, you should not set those standards which are not at all realistic, okay, which are not achievable. So, you have to make sure as a manager that to set a standard which can be achieved by you. Okay. Your organization is having the capacity, a machine which has the capacity of manufacturing 1000 units, and you fix the target to 1500 units. In that case, it is not a realistic target. Okay. I repeat the example, if you are having a machinery in your factory which is able to produce only 1000 units per year. Okay. Okay. Now, you set the target as 1500 units per year. In that case, what you are doing is setting an unrealistic target. Now, that should be avoided. You should understand what are your resources, and based upon that you have to set the standards. Now, once you set the standards, okay, next step in the controlling process is the measurement of actual performance. You have to measure the performance of your employees, and this should be in a reliable manner. Okay, when you are measuring the performances, it must be done in a reliable manner, free from prejudices, bias, anything else. Okay, anything else which will be having a negative impact on the measurements. Okay, so this measurement of actual performance, when you are measuring your actual performance of your employees, you need to note 3 important things. 1, it should be reliable, as I said. It should be free from prejudices, and it should be measured in those same terms as in which you have set your standards. Okay? ನೀವು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಅದೇ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಮೆಷರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. What I mean to say is, say if you have set the target as 1000 units, but when you are measuring it, you are measuring it from the viewpoint of rupees, how much amount has been obtained by you. Now, that is not to be done. You have to measure from the viewpoint of the number of units manufactured itself. You cannot use any other terms or units. Okay? Now, the third thing when you are measuring the actual performance is that you should measure it when the performance is being done. You should measure it when the performance is being done. Okay? Now, if it is a small organization, you can check the things on the spot when the performance is being done, but of course, from the viewpoint of the larger scale organizations, it may become little difficult. You may have to adopt certain measures to do that particular task. Then the next step, once you finish measuring the actual performance, the next step is to compare your actual performance with the standards. Whatever performance you have done, whatever performance that you have measured, okay, that performance has to be compared with the standards. That means, you have to compare point number 2 with point number 1. You have to compare actual standards with standards already set. Okay? Actual performance and standards performance nondige compare ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Now, when you do this, you will be able to find deviations. See, if your standard actual performance and standard performance is equal, there will be no deviation. But imagine, let me take the case example, give you an example. This is actual performance and this is standard performance. Your standard performance will remain your actual performance, if it remains equal to the standard performance, that means there is no deviation. Okay. But if your actual performance is more, okay, if your actual performance is more, then it is called as positive deviation, okay, and if it is less, it is called as negative deviation. Students, in the point number 3, when we are comparing, okay, we just find out what are the deviations. Okay, we just find out what are the deviations, that is it more than the standards or lesser than the standards or equal to the standards, that is it. Okay. If your standards are equal with actual performance, there is no reason for analyzing the deviation or taking corrective action. But if there is a positive deviation or a negative deviation, in that case we will be moving on to the 4th point, analyzing deviations. Now, what do you do in the analyzing of deviations? You try to find out, students, you try to find out the the causes for the deviations, okay, the causes for the deviations. Now, what could be the causes of deviations? What could be the causes of deviations? What could be? Now, you may be, the causes of deviations can include inadequate resources, the standards which you have set might be unrealistic, or we do not know what is happening in the business environment, even that may affect the deviations in the organization. So, it is very important for an organization to understand the cause of such deviations. Okay? It can, the cause for that deviation can come from within the organization or can be also from outside the organization. So, you need to understand those causes for deviations, and when you analyze this causes, you will be able to take the corrective actions. Now, before going into this, we will also move into an important category wherein you will be considering the deviations. See, not all the organizations will be able to reach their standards. Okay? All the organizations will not be able to reach their standards. So, what they do is they will be considering it okay if there is a slight variations or slight deviations from their standard performance. Sometimes what happens, the organization may consider some deviation in the performance as a normal thing, or it expects some sort of deviations. Okay? It can be a positive deviation or a slight negative deviations. They will be not giving much importance to such slight deviations. But in case there is a major deviations and all, in that case they will be considering it as a serious concern. Okay? They have to be concerned seriously about such what do you say, longer deviations. Now, to analyze these deviations, generally the managers will be adopting critical point control and management by exception. Management by exception. Now, what do we do in critical point control? In the critical point control, what happens is the manager will be identifying key result areas. Key result areas. What happens? These key result areas are set as the critical points. If anything goes wrong with these key critical areas, okay, then it will be having a negative impact on the organization. So, as a result of which the entire organization will be suffering. So, for the management has to give importance to the key result areas to solve the problems. Then comes the management by exception. Herein what happens, management by exception rule actually is referred to as control by exception. Okay, control by exception. It follows a principle that if you try to control everything, If you try to control everything, it will result in controlling nothing. If you try to control everything, it will result in controlling nothing. So, this particular technique actually considers only significant deviations which will be going beyond the permissible limit set by the organization. Say if the organization says, okay, slight deviations are okay for it, okay, slight deviations. Say for example, if it considers 2% increase in the labor cost as not a big problem, then it is okay, that can be neglected. But if the labor cost increases to 10%, in that case it is of a serious concern. So, the management has to give importance, or it has to take care or take necessary steps to control this labor costs. So, if when there is a slight deviations in case of a particular activity, there is no big problem about it, but when it crosses, when it goes beyond the permissible limits, you may have to take necessary steps to correct it, okay? And that is when you come into the step taking corrective action. Now, taking corrective action is nothing but you will be finding solutions for the problems that you have identified. Now, sometimes what happens, you will be having problems within the organization, and these problems can be solved by taking decisions at your organizational level. But if your organization, the problems that you are facing are from outside the organization, in that case you may have to seriously consider taking necessary steps for it. So, for example, if you are manufacturing a product, okay, and that product has gone to the market and now it has been returned by the consumer saying that there is a defect in the product. Now, this defect can be because of the defective machine which has manufactured that product, or the raw material which is used in manufacturing that product may be defective. So, what you could do as a controlling manager is to find out the cause. If the cause is due to the low quality of the material used, you have to rectify it by changing the supplier of this materials. So, thereby it will lead to corrective action in the organization. So, this is what is to be done in the controlling process. So, I will sum up the controlling process once again. It will involve setting the performance of the standards, then it will lead to measurement of the actual performance, then that actual performance has to be compared with the standard performance. Then when you do that, you will be able to find out the deviations. In the fourth step, you need to analyze those deviations, and once you finish analyzing the deviations, you will have to take the corrective actions. Thank you.